So as you can see, today is the happiest team build, and we got our brand new Hasbulla pillow for Christmas. It finally showed up. W. How do we decide what the happiest team is? We look at their pictures. Everybody here is smiling. Look at them. Look at Nick Gordon. Little smile. Manny Machado, good smile. Look at Stanton with the smile. Curtis Granderson smiling. Soto with a big smile. We're gonna use Jared Weaver as our pitcher. He's happy. Rank 704. We're gonna go into it, play a game. Hopefully we get a dub. And yes, 17-5. Hey yo, what is this? This dude never played ranked before. It could be a new account, but even if it's a new account, he had like P4, P5 players. So like it doesn't even matter. Even if that is a new account, you're probably not P4 and P5ing the same players in 22 games. I would assume you're not. Maybe you are. So basically my thought is this dude played a lot of offline. I haven't really used this Curtis Granderson, which is kind of crazy because I really love Curtis Granderson cards. I think by the time he already came out, I already had good outfielders, and he only has 97 contact against righties. Yeah, that's probably why I didn't use him. More games with him. Oh my gosh, and then Machado just hit a home run. 97 Machado hit a home run. Not even 99. It doesn't matter which Machado it is. We just hit amazing with him. I think this year Manny Machado might be one of the most underrated players for me. Now, this is going to be some bias, right? Of course, because Manny Machado is my favorite player. But I think that dude for me has been the most underrated player the entire year. Statistically, when I played his 3 cards, those 3 cards were probably the best on my team. I think Manny Machado has this sort of you either love him or you hate him kind of guy. That's kind of how it is. You could definitely still be in the middle, but I feel like there's a lot more people who are on either side. I mean, I love the guy, but I'll be honest, he does have some plays that, yes, are a little fishy. You know, he did some dirty-ish tactics. I will agree to that. Not every single thing that he did that got called dirty was dirty, but there were definitely some. The Dustin Pedroia one, man, I mean, he lifted his cleat up. It was tough. You know, he tries to say he doesn't do it on purpose, and there's, you know, maybe that is true. Maybe that is true, but still, it is tough. I mean, you literally ended someone's career. Granted, he was getting older anyways, but I still think he had some more years in him. So it is just tough. It is just tough. It might have also been when he was playing for the Dodgers when he was going by first base and he stepped on that dude's ankle as well, which also bad look. But I feel like with Manny Machado, he's gonna lie somewhere in this middle, right? Some people think he's super dirty, and then I guess you could want to think that he's not dirty at all, which I'm like, okay, he's definitely in the middle. There's no way he's just not dirty at all. He does have those situations pop up in his career that you could point to, but he's also not the dirtiest player ever because, like I said, in San Diego, I don't think there's been a whole lot. It's not like he has one every single year, right? He really doesn't. So Tatis, I believe, is either 23 or 24, right? And I'm 24. It's like when I look at Tatis, if I imagine myself in his position, like picture basically you have Tatis's career, right? So his dad was a baseball player. You're growing up, you know, in the Dominican Republic. You're probably one of the more athletic guys in the Dominican Republic. You're a superstar the minute you get in San Diego. And then you're on the cover of one of the MLB The Shows. You get paid a $434 million contract, I'm pretty sure, for 14 years. And you're this young kid who is basically being told from day one, kind of when you started, by the Padres, or if not day one, very early on, that you are the superstar of our franchise. We literally think you're going to be one of the best players in this game for the next 14 years, and that's why we signed you this massive contract. If that was me at the age of 21, 22, I could see where you'd get a little ego. I could. You'd have a little bit big of a head. Imagine having to be 21, 22, and they want you to act as mature as these 28, 29, 30-year-old veterans. Now, of course, I'm not giving them all the excuses because you can look at Juan Soto, and Juan Soto's either the same age or maybe a little bit younger, and that dude's about to be getting paid a bag, and he's a very mature person. I'm not saying that it can't be done. Of course, it can be done, and I'm not trying to give the guy an excuse, but it's just more like, even if I looked at myself, I could see why you'd have an ego. Total tangent. Is that a home run? Nice job, Stanton. But yeah, I don't understand why we always try to put up these athletes on such a high like pull just because they're making a bunch of money. They have to be super responsible, and they have to be like they all have to act like role models. Just because they're athletes and they play the game of baseball for a ton of money does not mean that they have figured out life, every single person. And I've talked about this in every video. Carlos Correa, dude. Is this dude gonna ever sign a contract? Like, are they ever gonna negotiate a deal? Now, granted, I get it. I'm pretty sure they weren't negotiating because it was Christmas and stuff. But like, still, I did hear someone say it was like an analyst. I don't know where it was. I don't know if it was on like MLB The Show Network, ESPN, whatever. Honestly don't even remember who it was. But They basically stated the reason this is so tough is because Scott Boras with Carlos Correa is trying to say, hey, look, this is guaranteed money. This is what we're guaranteeing, right? This is what we're going to get. And this isn't exactly what he's saying. I'm paraphrasing a little bit from what I saw. But anyways, the Mets are kind of like, listen, if you get hurt with a lower leg injury, left leg or right leg, whichever one it is, then you're going to lose a certain amount of money. And then instead of becoming a 9-year deal, becomes a 7-year. Scott Boras and them are trying to be like, in the players union are like, nope. Can't allow that. Can't allow that. He has to get his guaranteed money. Like, you guarantee it. No, which would make sense that would be the issue. But still in my head, I truly believe the Mets and Steve Cohen, they're not worried about Carlos Correa, what's going to happen 5 years from now. They are in a massive win now mode that they do not care about Carlos Correa even in 5 years. I don't think they do. Unless the doctors could literally say there's a 95% chance after 6 years he is no longer going to play or something like that, right? Like if they're given something like a really high percentage, then I could see where maybe they'd be a little tough. I swear they're in such a win now mode that they're literally only worried about like the first like 3 years. And if the doctors are telling him, look, doesn't look good, don't even know if he can be healthy for 3 years, I think that's where you're like, yeah, I don't know if we can give this dude a big contract. Rare World Series are, and kind of how, you know, these contracts are working. If you win one World Series, even in your large contract, that's an absolute W of a contract. They signed Carlos Correa, they win a World Series in the first 3 years, and then he doesn't play the rest of the years, they're gonna be fine. Now, they might be upset and be like, damn, dude, like, if he was healthy, we could have won more, right? But if he wins one, or even if it takes 6 years, he wins in the first 6 years of his contract, and then the next 6 years, they don't win. Yes, towards the end, they'll be like, hey, get rid of him. But they're gonna be happy that he brought him a championship. And now it's also different for a lot of teams, let's be honest. Like the Houston Astros, if you were to sign someone to a massive contract for 14 years or 12 years or whatever, and you only won one more World Series, they'd kind of be tough because I think they've had so much success recently that if you only won one more and then they didn't win anything for the next decade, I think they'd be like, well, this sucks by the end of the decade, right? Right? The Padres, if they just win one with Xander Bogaerts, Padre fans are gonna love Xander Bogaerts. What it is, unless Xander Bogaerts plays like absolute trash, and there's no reason that we won because of him. Even if they don't win a World Series, Padre fans are gonna still love him. With baseball more than anything, being a superstar does not mean a whole lot. If you're in the NBA, you're a superstar. I mean, you could carry your team to a victory. You know, you still need a good enough team to win, but since there's only 5 players on the court, you can do so much more. Depending what position you are in the NFL, you know, if you're one of the greatest quarterbacks, there's probably a good chance you're gonna at least get to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl. Now, you might not win multiple. I'm not saying that you're gonna win multiple. It's very hard to win multiple, but you'll at least get there if you've been an elite quarterback at least in a year. Like we've seen it. Like Cam Newton was an elite quarterback for 1 year. He got to the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan was an elite quarterback probably a little bit more than 1 year, but specifically in that year, you know, because he won MVP and whatnot. And he got to a Super Bowl. Now you will still have some quarterbacks who don't, like Phillip Rivers. I think Phillip Rivers is a really, really good quarterback actually. And the dude just was never able to make it. Which is tough. You have baseball. You literally have Mike Trout, who is considered one of the, if not, he's considered by some people the greatest baseball player to ever live. Or he's definitely considered by a lot of people that if his career keeps going, he's going to end up the greatest baseball player ever. And then you have Shohei Ohtani, who's literally known as a unicorn, and he's insane. And they don't even make the playoffs. And you could try to say, well, Mike Trout was hurt. Yeah, he still hit 40 home runs and still hit absolutely amazing and still had, if he still had great production in those games with Ohtani being healthy, they still should have been able to win enough games to compete. At least in those 3 sports, MLB is the one where the superstar has the least amount of impact. It boggles my mind how many people think they could get a hit off of like Jacob deGrom. Not even any MLB pitcher. People think they could get a hit off of Jacob deGrom. Like what, bro? And some people get crazy and think not even hit. Some people literally think they could hit a home run off of Jacob deGrom. Newsflash for you, buddy. You're probably not. And so I don't know where some of these dudes get this confidence. And like I said, we're talking hits. So that doesn't mean a walk. Walk doesn't count. A walk is literally just, hey, I just stand there and hope that like he throws 4 balls. No, we're saying hit. Like, you know what else kind of bothers me, and I don't get it, is when people tell batters to learn how to hit against the shift. I will say, some players don't even want to try, and I understand, and that can be frustrating. But it's 1000% easier said than done. And now, more than likely, they're going to pitch so far inside of you, like right here, the only thing you could ever do is pull the ball, and you have a giant pull tendency, so you're just gonna pull the ball. Exactly, just like that, see? So like, it's easier said than done. Now I get it, you should still try to look to go the other way, so if they throw an outside pitch, you should try to hit. I could understand if you wanted the batter's mentality to be, I'm looking for an outside pitch. If he ever throws that outside pitch, I'm going to make him pay and go outside. I'm looking for that all the way. And yes, I get it. Some of the best hitters, contact hitters, like let's throw in Wade Boggs here. But I'm sure Wade Boggs would find a way if they tried to shift him to hit against the shift. I'm sure he would. I'm sure Tony Gwynn would find a way. So I understand when you got like Joey Gallo or someone who hits really, really low percentage is because they shift you and you can't do nothing about it. But it's not as easy as just like breathing. All right, it's not just this simple task that you're gonna easily be able to do. And I see it as, listen, if they want to take the shift out of the game, sure, take it out of the game. If some players want it out of the game, sure. As long as the players want it. If majority of the players didn't want it, then I'd be like, I don't know why we're doing this if majority of the players don't want it. I would kind of assume maybe the majority of the players do want it, from what it seems. Also, this dude had 3 hits with Ken Griffey, 2 home runs. Looking pretty good. Hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.